The Creator bless you. Thank you very much. I'd like to magnify my peace unto you and to give thanks to Brother Clemson Brown and Brother Azariah for their gracious invitation. I also would like to give recognition and praises to Professor Delbert Blair and the work that Professor Delbert Blair is doing around the country. And the Times always dictates to us and gives us a way, shows us light along the way. And I am just happy to have the chance to be in that quadrant with you. You teach me. You all help me more than you know. And I'm grateful. And I'd like to first let you know that the subject that I'm covering here is an ongoing subject. How many of you have had the chance to listen to some of our great elders, Professor Richard King, Carol Barnes, and listen to them as the time they were trailblazers on this subject? At a time when everybody was speaking about black being beautiful, we did not know. We just knew that. But of course, living in the Western mind, living in the Western hemisphere of the planet, which means that everything has to be intellectualized on this continent, we had to find out why black was beautiful. And I think they had to find out why black was beautiful, because if you understood what red, black, and green meant, you would understand that those are chakra colors for melanin. And I'm going to get into that a lot deeper at another time. The metaphysics of the colors, red, black, and green. And what those colors meant to your ancient Kemete'u, not Egyptians, Kemites, but the Kemete'u peoples. And how they recognized what melanin was from a pictographic understanding, a deeper, more sublime understanding or overstanding and inner standing of this thing, of this principle, of this activity that we have consolidated into form and called melanin. I want you to just put it down for the history, like Brother was saying, that, I don't know, I have 7 books that I'm writing at the same time. And I find that all things cycle into the one, but there are many in diverse colors. For lack of funds, I have not had the chance to sit down and complete them. But I just want you to know, as I showed you the book Wounded Womb, as I showed you the book on herbs, I also want you to show that there is actually a working matrix called melanalysis, the metaphysics of dark matter consciousness. It is in the works. I have I've been given many offers on the Wounded Womb, but the Wounded Womb is a special book for me. It's actually book 3 or 4 in the series, and I finished that one first. Book 1 is called The Microcosmic God, which is the truth around the distillation process that became man. Book 2 is the melanalysis, the metaphysics of dark matter consciousness and how man became. Book 3 is neogenesis. Book 4 is the Wounded Womb. Book 5 is the Epicene Enigma, the secret behind the phenomenon called homosexuality. Book 6 is a book called The Ebers Papyrus, or The Ebers Unveiled. Ebers Unveiled is one of my favorites because it shows that that so-called first book on medicine was actually a book that was given to man at that time, burgeoning man, as a book with formulae to help with radiation burns. There was a great war during the time that that book was written, and the people who took the book, who were lacking in melanin, did not understand its import at the time they were doing the translations. You had a medical mind trying to understand what a homeopathic mind was actually delineating. And the Everest Papyrus, when they showed you the parts that they took of insect parts, of taking poisons for lead for the eyes and then using another specific type of potion to get rid of the poison, they were actually practicing the highest science of homeopathy at the most difficult time that the planet had gone through in our consciousness time zone. There was a great nuclear blast over Kim that took out all the forest, all the trees, everything else, and turned it into the desert land that you saw. Kim was not a desert, never was a desert. There's no place that our people would ever put up in a desert. The same thing that happened on Mars when the regressives began to attack there, when they took back in time and came there and attacked. And actually, the one that you know as Ptah, the officer called Ptah, is buried within the face that you see there on Mars. That is his tomb. And his mother, or the mother principle that guides all things, that is supposed to be a radiated principle, once we spied that particular face, that would then trigger a race consciousness within the melanin. And it has. It has, it has. That's why they are doing this serious, regressive, demonic ritual at the pyramids on the 31st of December to intercept the Orion 9 energies. The 9 energies is for the establishment or for the locking in of melanin energies to the right vortex. What they're trying to do is to set up a 6th vortex. And in setting up the 6th vortex, they're trying to intercept the 9 vortex, which is to awaken certain crystalline lattices within the melanin molecule. And they are going to triangulate, and they're not telling you the truth behind it. The truth behind it is they are going to triangulate to all the pyramids on this planet. Not just the major pyramid, but all the pyramids on this planet. And they are going to set up a force field to try to intercept the Orion, or what you know as Osiris constellation, or the Osirian constellation. And if we do not set up counter thought processes, counter thought energies, like Dr. Delbert says, the melanin molecule, which is God in the physicalized form, or God's programming of itself within this consciousness time zone, will be intercepted, and there will be a great breakdown in the consciousness matrix that is supposed to be established for this time. So I just want you to understand and understand that during that time, we must set up some form of a force field, if not just in your home. Burn certain sages, listen to music that is of your own ancestral drums. I suggest drums played by indigenous or melanated peoples during that time will set up a frequency that will entrain the heart, because the heart has the seat of the soul. The seat of the soul is not around the pineal, but they have found that there is a valve inside the heart where the soul itself sits. So we have to regulate the soul's energy by regulating it through the drum. That is why the drum was used as a healing modality for us as people. And as such, the drum sets up a synchronicity with the heartbeat. If you are sick, the medicine person or the medicine woman, the medicine man, beats the drum in synchronicity to lock your heart into that particular rhythm, and thereby, in syntonic relationship, keep your heart going through a psionic, a kind of a projection to you of that healing. That is exactly what we are supposed to be doing with our own melanated selves. The music that is being played, the ultra-high frequencies from harp and all other forms of high-level, high-frequency, different types of radiated modalities that melt light. See, that's a concept everyone doesn't understand. About 1974, they finally revealed that back in 1932, Einstein and about 5 others, Tesla, went into a specific grave that was dug up in Greece and found a papyrus there that showed a specific place in the pyramid that never existed before. What they found down there was the formula for liquid light. Now, these are your ancestors. This is melanin operating at its highest frequencies. Now, I cannot and will not go into the psychobabble that has been given to us around melanin. If we lock ourselves into that paradigm, we will constantly follow the rich programming that they have set inside the so-called miseducation system. There is a rich programming that comes with the consciousness that's being given to you. Rich programming is using the outer field of your aura and to set up harmonic implants that will intercept certain energy frequencies, distort them. Because when you are in your perceptive modes, your aura shoots out into the darkness, into the dark matter. And as that light becomes back to you, just like tides, as you perceive things, as you begin to think things, as you begin to extend that which is you, the you that you are, a light shoots out from you, and then the information informing, or that which is of the dark matter that matches itself through the light being emanated from you as your aura, comes back to you in the form of a light, inspiration, inspiration, to inbreathe. So as that light comes back, as you sit and contemplate, and that light shoots out and then comes back, you are inspired by what your ancestors give you as your field of operation, consciousness operation. Well, they have a way of setting up rich programmings that intercepts that. Now, in melanalysis, I speak about dark matter consciousness, but I have to first do the preliminaries. Because after I have given you the Western context for melanin, and I have used certain principles around what it is that they tell you it is, I am now going to give you the hypothetics of melanin based upon what the left brain found. It is time for a right brain understanding of melanin, not just from what our great teachers have given to us in the form of information left by our Kemetu ancestors, that it was the black dot, that it was the center of consciousness, that it was the center of this and said, how did it happen? What is melanin? Maybe we need to just get rid of the term, because the term means nothing to what the thing is. It consolidates it into this coffin constructed of letters and words. It has died in the meaning that they have given to you. The word melanin comes from the word melano or melan, which means dark. It's Latin. Right away you understand what I mean by dark matter consciousness now. The Greek, it comes melas, which means black. Now, melanin is a dark pigment found in the skin, retina, and the hair. This is your Webster's dictionary. How many of you saw my dissertation on the mathematics of the beast? And we told you what Webster's dictionary came up to, did it not? The word Webster came up to 666. So you understand that the beast has you in a carbon lockdown, because that's essentially what it is. 666 is nothing more than the carbon molecule. So what they're doing is keeping you in the beast field, not in the spirit field, but in the beast field. Melanin is dark matter pigment for the skin, retina, and hair. Melanic, of pertaining to or exhibiting melanism. Now listen to this. Afflicted with melanosis. Afflicted with melanosis. What is melanosis? Abnormally dark pigment of the skin or other tissues, resulting from sunburn and various dermatosis. So obviously melanosis has nothing to do with us. Because I see some unusually and abnormally dark people compared, right here in this room, compared to the definition. Melanoid, black pigmented, afflicted with melanosis. Melancholy. Sadness or depression of the spirit. Listen to how the light code locked down through your semantic prism and how they manipulate light. And it's funny because next week in Atlanta, I'm going to wear them out with the fact that light is a tangible, accessible, moldable thing. So if light can be molded into a feeling, then they have now taken that feeling and called it melancholy. Check this: sadness or depression of the spirit, gloom, pensive reflection or contemplation, a black bile. That's a separate reference, a black bile. That's what melancholy is. An emotional state characterized by sullen outbreaks of sudden rage believed to arise from black bile. Melanism. They go back. Melanism is melanosis, darkness of the skin, hair, or eyes, resulting from high pigmentation. Melanocyte, an epithelial cell capable of synthesizing the black pigment melanin and responsible for color variations in the skin of humans and animals. Melanocyte stimulating hormone, a hormone secreted by the pituitary gland that stimulates melanocytes or melanophores to dispense melanin. A melanophore is a chromatophore that contains melanin. All of these are going to mean something as we go along. And I told you in Matrix what chroma means. Chromatophore is a pigment-containing, pigment-producing cell, especially a pigment-containing animal cell, that by expansion or contraction can change the overall color of the skin. Now, the chromatophore, or the chromatic in music, if anybody understands music, you understand what the chromatic is. It is a harmonic change or a movement to another power. So when you're speaking about a chromatophore, if it is capable of changing the overall color of the skin, then color being life, color being a byproduct of light, it means that that has a distinct connection to consciousness and intelligence. And that it is a controllable instrument. Because if the lizard can change colors, the chameleon can change colors with its chromatophores. Why is it that a lowly lizard can do that and you cannot? Why is it that a lowly turtle can live 500 years and you drop dead at 60? What is wrong, or what has been pushed out of phase about us as people of color? What is it? Melanochroi, Caucasian peoples having dark hair with light complexions. Also, melanochroid, Greek melan, dark, acros meaning pale. This is where the words break down. Now, first, let me explain the use of dark matter. The term dark matter as used in this context, not in their context, because they will try to investigate dark matter till the cows come home, and they will never understand or overstand what it is that that term was that was given to them. I call it the Seshet Kem-Ur, which is our own ancestors' sound vibrations for the description of that thing. The term dark matter is used, or as used in this context, deals not or does not refer to a substantiation or qualification of some form of subtle matter. It is an attempt to rarefy an aspect of divinity. It is my attempt to rarefy personify an aspect of divinity, to make tangible that which is untouchable by science or semantic definition. Science presently sees, or more appropriately looks, at what amounts to being an impenetrable surface revealed to them through the lens of their ever-growing, ever-specializing technology. The more specific the modality, the more inaccessible it becomes to the subtle organics of corporeal and incorporeal existence. That's what I spoke about when you deal with the external Merkaba. Such is the study of melanin. To science, dark matter is as yet an inaccessible territory of existence that completely eludes their intellectual colonization. The same is true for melanin. This is the reason I have made the association between melanin and dark matter, because both are as yet inaccessible and inexplicable to the precise degree by any mode or method of science. Now, they will tell you what it is that they see around the fringes of that thing, disintegrating under their touch. At this point, therefore, it is anybody's guess what the higher functions of either phenomenon truly are. Everything must be considered speculative. Although science has narrowed the perceivable mechanisms of melanin down to its organizational capabilities, its archetypal purpose or its more arcane or occult purpose remains a mystery. To understand the mystery of melanin as dark matter consciousness, you cannot simply study it as an effect. You must understand its metaphysical motivations. Its metaphysical motivations, its archetypal intent based on the realms of cause. You cannot study melanin as an effect because it is a dynamic of cause that continues to refine itself. It will never stop at the particular point that it expresses itself because it is an ever-changing dynamism that follows intelligence. The reason why your melanin is in lockdown now, because your intelligence factors are all in stasis. The modalities and the potential of melanin has been put into stasis. It is Osar wrapped up, Osiris buried. The brother Set that had taken melanin and destroyed it, broke it up into 50 pieces. Melanin as a molecule no longer has its wholeness.